Hi everyone, Chad here from Chimu Adventures, and today I'm going to show you how to pack for Antarctica, or at least how I would pack for Antarctica. So what I'm going to first show you is my day pack. This is a 35 litre day pack. That's about the size I like, and I really love this one because it has three main compartments. It has a larger one at the back where I keep things like my warm jacket, my traveling pillow, headphones, things like this. So this is something that's useful for the aircraft, but then also when you go on Antarctica landings, you can take it as well. So larger things there, middle layer, where I tend to have things like, when I'm traveling, a book, a power adapter, my power bank, glasses, things like that. So that's the middle section. And then the smaller section at the front, which has things like drugs that I might need for the sleeping tablets, a pen, things like that for the aircraft as well. But for the actual landings in Antarctica, I love it too because it has these straps on the side. So for example, you have walking poles, you can put the walking poles on there. It also has a section for my water bottle. As you can see, I also have some carabiners, so you can put it on there. You never know where it might get knocked off, coming off a Zodiac, and that keeps it secure. Another thing I love about this bag too is this little pouch on the waist strap. So I keep some sun cream and lip balm in there as well, which can be invaluable when you're out in the sun in Antarctica. So that's my day pack for both Antarctica and the flight. And then what I want to show you is my main pack that I take down to Antarctica. I don't tend to use a suitcase. I tend to use a softer bag with the multiple compartments like this. This one has four main compartments, a bottom layer, a secondary layer, and then two end layers. I like this because I can break things up. I put my gloves and socks and things like this in one end, and then in the other end, I'll put things like my toiletries bag, my first aid kit, any other sort of drugs like sleeping drugs or seasickness tablets, and all those smaller items can fit on either end. On the base layer, when I'm traveling, I tend to put most of my clothes in here. It can also be handy for dirty clothes once you're traveling. And I like these packing cubes. So for example, all my shirts are in here. I also have mid layers in here, which I might need. Swimmers, of course, for the polar plunge, very important. And then another packing cube for things like underpants and things like that. I normally have at least 3 or 4 pairs of trousers just for wearing around the ship and things like that. I pack some shorts, usually more for South America than Antarctica, because you don't need them around the ship so much. But that's more or less it. I'll pack those into layers. I'll also try and put my shoes in here as well. I tend to try and stuff as many socks as I can into my shoes. I'll take 2 sets of shoes. So one will be here, but obviously I'll be traveling with one as well. Again, like most things in Antarctica, there isn't a gift shop on the way, so you need to make sure you have a redundancy. So that's the base layer that I'll pack in, and then I'll put my other items, some more my expedition type gear. So these are my waterproof, windproof pants. I always have a wet bag, whether I'm in a kayak or not, that can be very handy, just even in a Zodiac, waterproof bag. I have things like this for a waterproof phone case for my phone so I can take photos. More carabiners, just smaller type items. A windbreak, I find this really handy for when I'm out on the Zodiacs. Got the wind and the sun and things like that. So it's another great thing. I always have a couple of hats. It can be quite sunny down there. These little lanyards can be great as well, which you can attach onto the back of your shirt. So when you get a katabatic wind, for example, that comes down a glacier, it keeps them on there. I do also normally, as well as my sunglasses, pack some ski goggles, but that can be, again, when you've got those katabatic winds or some sort of snow comes in quickly, that can be quite handy. Binoculars are of course important, so I always have those, and merino thermals are equally important. There's always coffee cups on board, but I also like to take my own Keep Cup coffee cup because I know it keeps my coffee warm as well. So that's pretty much my packing. It's not too big a bag. I can just zip that up. This one, because it's not a suitcase, I can lift it like this, but also has the beauty that on the end you can pull it out to also pull it through the airport. So there you go. Hopefully that was useful, packing for Antarctica.